What happens when a romance series looks at a red flag, gives it a muscle, a criminal empire, an excellent hair, and then says, "Yes, that one. I want that one." Well, you get The Alliance by S.J. Tilly's four-book dark mafia romance series packed with dangerous men, questionable decisions, obsessive attraction, and women who keep discovering that a normal evening can turn into a criminal thriller before desert. The series begins with Nero, continues through King and Dom, and then closes with Hans. Each book follows a different couple, but the stories are connected by the same criminal network, the Alliance. Before we enter this particular crime family, a quick content warning. This is dark adult romance, not a cozy story about two people meeting at a farmer's market and communicating beautifully. The books include violence, death, kidnapping, stalking, forced imprisonment, dubious consent, trauma, mafia, or vigilant crime, and references to human trafficking and abuse. So please check the author's official warning before reading. And yes, the possessive behavior is presented at fantasy. In fiction, I know where you at all the times can be a trope, but in real life, it is a reason to change your password and call a friend. Now, let's talk about why readers willingly walk into this beautifully decorated danger zone. What is the Alliance series? The books are interconnected standalones. That means each novel centers on a new couple and offers its own romance arc, while characters and consequences carry from one story into the next. Reading in order is the best way to experience the growth of the alliance and understand how the earlier couples affect the later books. And the heart, like at the heart of the series, is a very specific fantasy. So, a man who is a terrifying to everyone else, but turns intensely devoted when it comes to one woman. These heroes are violent, controlling, morally compromised, and so surrounded by red flags. The romantic tension comes from watching all that darkness collide with vulnerability, loyalty, humor, and the very human desire to belong. The series opens with Nero and Peyton. Peyton has spent years surviving quietly after leaving home at 17. She builds a small, controlled life and tries to stay invisible. She does not want any attention from anyone. She doesn't want any troubles. Most of all, she does not want the past finding her. Then Nero walks through her open patio door. Nero is not a misunderstood Solomon role waiting to be discovered. He is a man who looked at violence and accepted it as a lifestyle and apparently decided to build a company around it. It helped in creating the alliance, and he understands power, fear, and bloodshed much better than he understands normal emotional boundaries. Then Peyton disrupts his carefully controlled world. Their relationship runs on immediate fascination, possessiveness, and the unsettling question of whether Peyton can reclaim control of her life by choosing to surrender it on her own terms. The peel of Nero is the contrast between Peyton's need for safety and Nero's instinct to protect through domination. When danger appears, he does not deliver a calm speech, contact the authorities, or suggest couple therapies. He responds like a mafia leader. So, if you want a hero who sends flower, Nero may not be your man. If you want a hero who would turn the streets into a personal warning message, welcome to book one. Next comes King. And this book takes the series' danger level in a very different direction. The heroine Savannah thinks she is going on a date. Instead, she discovers that the man she is seeing is married and that the situation is far more complicated than a simple bad date story. Then she meets King, the wife's brother. King is exactly as intimidating as his name suggests. When Savannah later returns to retrieve her car keys, she witnessed something she was never meant to see. Her ordinary evening becomes a criminal nightmare, and King decides that the easiest way to control the whole situation is to basically take control of Savannah herself. The result is force proximity, romance involving kidnapping, blackmailing, danger, and a marriage Savannah never planned to enter. What makes King so entertaining in this collusion is basically between its completely chaotic setup and its genuinely dark stakes. The plot is basically one bad date, one forgotten set of car keys, a murder, and suddenly you're married to a crime lord. Most people would call that a disastrous evening. Let's say King calls it a relationship milestone. But beneath that outrageous plot is Savannah's emotional journey. She is not simply trying to escape King, she is also confronting questions about trust, independence, self worth, and whether a man who takes away her choices can ever become someone she chooses freely. So, for readers who enjoy forced proximity, enemies to lovers tension, and a hero whose possessiveness is practically a personality trait, King is likely to be one of the series' most immediately, dramatic entries. Book 3, Dom. It literally shifts the emotional focus towards loneliness, family, and the dangerous comfort of being wanted. Valentine, called as Val, has grown up feeling rejected and isolated. Her family history has left her with a deep hunger of belongingness, and that hunger makes her especially vulnerable to someone who appears to see her completely. That someone is Dome, a magnetic stranger she meets at an airport. Their first encounter is brief, but the chemistry is immediate. A conversation becomes a connection, the connection becomes a reunion, and in Las Vegas, an impulsive night leads to an impulsive wedding. Then Val learns the truth. Dom is not simply a charming stranger, he is a powerful mafia figure, and a marriage was connected to his need to gain access to the alliance, which is led by Val's half brother King. Book 2. The emotional engine of Dome is betrayal. Val believes she has finally found the family, the love she has always wanted, but only to discover that she may have been used as a part of a criminal strategy. That gives the book a particularly sharp romantic conflict. Dom's feeling may be real, but his methods are manipulative. Val may be drawn to his devotion, but she still has to ask whether devotion means anything when it begins with deception and control. Compared with earlier books, Dom leans harder into emotional wounds, family fractures, and the transformation of someone who begins as a puppet into a person's capable of making her own choices. So it is a romance about a difference between being claimed and being truly known, and also a reminder that if a handsome stranger propose you in Vegas, perhaps ask a few follow-up questions before getting tattooed. Finally, we have Hands, the fourth and final book in this series. Cassie's plan to attract the attention of her brooding neighbor is almost comical wholesome, like leaving baked goods on his doorsteps and hope he notices her. And the problem is that Hens has already noticed her. Yes. In fact, Hens has noticed absolutely everything. And okay, this is not a will he text back situation. This is a why does this mysterious neighbor have a surveillance system situation? And he watches Casey from the shadows, keeps track of her life, and remains close without truly allowing himself to be known. And there was this one situation, the point situation, when her intimate photographs are accidentally delivered to him. The distance between them collapses at that point, and hence jealousy brings him directly into Casey's world. And Hans is not only a mafia adjacent dark romance hero, he's also a vigilant, shaped by grief and a long running mission connected to human trafficking and the loss of his sister. That gives Hans a slightly different flavor from the earlier books. The romance still involves obsession, surveillance, danger, and possessiveness, but it is also built around grief, revenge, and a man who believes he belongs in the shadows. Cassie's warmth and persistence challenge that belief. She brings humor and domestic tenderness into a life defined by violence. Hans, meanwhile, must comfort the possibility that protecting someone is not the same as keeping them in the dark. As the concluding installment, Hans also benefits from the series' accumulated world building, like the criminal network, recurring characters, and previous relationships gives the finale a sense of a larger found family. Though in this universe, family dinners may come with weapons, secrets, and a very high body count. So, why do readers keep returning to Alliance? First, there is a fantasy of absolute devotion. These heroes may be terrible men in the outside world, but they are single minded when it comes to the woman they love. Their intensity is on point. And second, the books combine dark romance danger with moments of humor and domestic intimacy. And these stories can move from criminal violence to banter, family gatherings, awkward misunderstanding, or an unexpectedly tender gesture. So the contracts keep the tone from becoming relentlessly bleak. Third, the series it interested in chosen family. Like the women do not remain isolated love interest, floating around powerful men. As the book progress, relationship form among the characters, loyalties deepen, and the alliance becomes more than a criminal organization. It becomes a dangerous but emotionally significant community. And finally, each book offers a different romantic hook. Nero gives us the unlocked door encounter. Kings deliver the forced marriage. Domes uses the impulsive wedding and family betrayal. And hence leans into the obsessive neighbor and vigilant dynamic. The books share a world and they do not repeat exactly the same story. Like this is what I really liked about the whole series, is that the formula is less copy and paste, and it is more like copy paste, add a kidnapping and change of location. So the Alliance series is a dark romance fantasy about dangerous men, intense possession, and women searching for safety, identity, and belonging inside a world where the family group chat probably count as a security briefing. If I have to like talk about my ranking, I would definitely gonna choose Hans as my first, second King, third will be Dome, and the fourth would be Nero. Because okay, so Nero establishes the obsession, King turns romance into a forced alliance, Dome explores loneliness, betrayal, and the need for family, and hence closes the series with surveillance, revenge, and a man who has to step out of the shadows. The series is dramatic, spicy, chaotic, and so red flag heavy that a traffic light would be jealous. I mean, it has to be. It is not asking whether these men are good, it is asking whether their devotion can become meaningful despite everything that makes them dangerous. And that's very nice. And that is the central appeal of Alliance. The fantasy that the most feared men in the room might be merciless to everyone except you, which is romantic in a book, alarming at brunch, and definitely something we should keep in the fictional section of our life. Like, seriously, guys, like, keep it in that section itself. So, with all this, if you have read the series, tell me in the comments which book is your favorite, which hero you think has the biggest red flag, and most importantly, which heroine deserves a vacation, a locked door, and possibly a new number. And if you enjoyed this video, like, and please subscribe if you haven't, and turn on the notification for more spoiler free recommendations. Until next time, keep reading, be happy, and remember, enjoy the chaos on the pages only, but keep your real life standards firmly switched on. Bye and take care.